Welcome back, CSC103, W1, W2, and M2 for fall 2020. And we're working on our 3D pumpkin, and we're using Tinkercad. And this is the first time I'm really using Tinkercad, so we're trying it out and seeing how it goes. And this is my pumpkin so far. I went back to my dashboard by clicking on this thing, and it saved it. So I wanted to make sure it saved it. So to open it up again, you just have to do tinker this. So if you want to go back, or you're taking a break or whatever, or maybe you're stopping it. To be honest, if you got this far, that's pretty good. I'm not going to take any points off if you got this far. But I am going to try to put the little triangles for the eyes and the mouth on it. So we're going to try that in part 2 of this. So I'm going to click on tinker this, and there's my pumpkin, and I'll click on the home area. I'll put it in perspective, and I'll zoom in a little bit. So that's not a bad looking pumpkin, I guess, for a 3D pumpkin using basic shapes over here. And since we have some basic shapes, I'm going to go down here and bring out this thing. It's called roof. So I'm going to use this. That's actually going to be the eyes of the pumpkin. And obviously we'll make one and then duplicate it and then put it on the other side. And I'm going to use this round roof and kind of flatten it and use that for the mouth and just kind of stick it in there. We don't have to worry about teeth or anything like that. So I'm going to bring out this roof thing, and I'll stick it right here on my grid. And the first thing I'll do, and I guess it's a triangle, I'll view from the front and see what it looks like. And I'm going to try and flatten it. So first of all, I'll make it black, so at least it looks like the eye of a pumpkin. And I'm not sure what size. Let me kind of look at where I am. Now it's almost as wide as the pumpkin. So I think what I'll do is I'll adjust it from being 20 to being something like 2. Something like that should be fine, or even less, maybe even 1. But I'll leave it at 2 because it'll be easier to grab. And from here, it's to be an eye, it's probably going to be half the size. So I'd say it's going to be something like maybe 6. And then the height would probably be something also like that. We'll see how that looks. And it might be a little wider, so maybe I'll go 7. So I'll make it 7 by 6. Again, I didn't plan all this out. I'm just kind of working with it. So I think that looks pretty good. That looks like an eye in the pumpkin. And before I do anything, I'm going to kind of move it forward here. And I could just grab it and move it forward. And I'll bring it over here to kind of where it is. Now, I'm not completely from the top, although I should go and view it in the regular straight-on view from the top. So I'm accurate here. And that's kind of where it's going to be. But of course, I have to move it up. And I'm going to view from the front again. And before I do anything else, if it looks too big, now's the time to change the eye. So maybe I'll make this 6, and I'll make this 5. That looks a little bit better. So I'll make sure I put that in my notes. So I'll zoom in a little bit, and I'll even do this. So you can see where it is. It's kind of floating out on the top. Now we want to kind of put it in there and probably rotate it a little bit if we can, because it's going to be kind of embedded, and then we'll actually make it negative. Now we could make another copy right now, but I want to get this thing perfect before we flip it around. So I'm going to just move it in a little bit, and here's my rotation thing. I'm just going to rotate it from the top, so it's kind of aiming out a little bit, and that looks okay. That's not too bad. I think that will be okay. I think for what we do, that'll be okay. And I'll go back to the top again, because if that looks okay, unless I move it in slightly, but it doesn't go very, let's see, if it goes in too far, it doesn't look right. Well, I guess that's okay. That doesn't look too bad. I don't want to try to rotate it in all directions. Obviously, if I rotated the top down a little bit, that might help, but it's getting a little, it's going to get a little odd. So I think I'll just leave it like that for now. And I'll view from the top again. And what I'll try to do is duplicate this and just move it over. There's my duplicate. And I'll try to drag it along the same line. And what I'll do is I'll flip it. They have a flip button here. And it's asking which way to flip it. I'm going to flip it on this arrow. And I think that looks okay. And it's not too bad. It may be in a little bit too far, but, we'll see how it goes. It's okay. There's little things there. I'm going to select this one, and I'll shift and select that one, and I'll make them that whole color. And then I'm going to shift click on the whole thing, and see if I could group it. We'll see what happens here. And it makes these negative shapes. And I don't know how good that turned out. That doesn't look too bad. It's probably better that way. That looks a little more realistic, I guess. So that's okay, I guess. And those are our eyes. And then the last thing we'll do is we'll use this round roof thing. So I'm going to go back to the home view, zoom in, use perspective, and drag this round roof down here. And again, it's 20-20-20, so I might make this thing like 2, because I think that's what I did for my eyes. And I'm going to hold shift and kind of move over here a little bit. And this thing, maybe I'll make it like 10, and then the top I might make like 6, maybe even less, maybe 4. And I have to flip it around. So to do that, I want to flip it on almost the y-axis. So it flips, so it's like a smiley face. So I would want to view that from the front. And I'd want to be in complete orthographic so that when I flip it around, I can do this. That's all I want to do is just do that. That's perfect. There's my little smiley face. So I just want to move it into place. Actually, I'll make it black so it kind of looks like a face. And I'll just kind of move it here, kind of underneath the pumpkin. Now, I don't know where it is up and down until I look from the front. So I'll go to the front, and there it is. And I'll move it up. Now, the arrow's down here, I guess because I flipped it. And I'll move that up. And actually, when I move it up, it has those things sticking out, almost like their teeth. That's not too bad. And I think I'm going to make it wider. I think here where it says 10, I think I'll make it like maybe 16. See what that looks like. I'll try 14. And then I'm going to move it over. Now, they do have align tools, but I'm just going to physically move it over, something like that for now. And just kind of look at it a little bit. And obviously, it's kind of coming out from it, but that's okay, because we're going to make it negative, so it kind of looks like a hole. So I'm going to just click on that and use that hole color, and then hold shift again and just click on the pumpkin and do group. And it should make a negative looking thing. It takes a minute here, or it takes a couple seconds to do that, and I think that's it. I think we have our pumpkin here. It's not perfect. You'd put a nose on here or something if you want, or anything else, but that's pretty much what I wanted. I don't know if I'm going to do much more than that. So moving around here, I think that looks pretty good as far as what we wanted to do here. And I'm happy with that. I'm going to stop here, so I'm not going to do anything else. We got a stem. You could put anything flat. You could try anything you want on here. You could put a little flat shape and flatten it out and try to make it look like it's, you know, kind of a little more of a cap on here. But when I tried it before, it didn't look real great. So, but it doesn't mean you can't. So you could put a sphere and flatten it or something, whatever you want to try. So you could even try carving out something. I tried one where I carved out the inside, where I put something here and it made it look like there's a hole at the top. That looks good too. You know, if you don't want to do the stem thing, try to do something where you put a hole at the top. And whatever you want to try here. It just takes some practice. And if you haven't used this before, it's going to take some work doing it. And I don't know if I'm doing a really good job of showing you or not. I guess when I see your pumpkins and your cubes with holes, I'll find out. But I'm going to stop here. Now, to turn this in, you don't have to do anything except just make sure you save it. So if you're done here, just go here and it should save your work. And you shouldn't have to do anything in your classroom. You should see your kind of finished design here. And if you click on this and you want to just check it out, they have this little like preview area here that I was showing you in the beginning. And if you say view in 3D, it creates like a little view here, and you could kind of show it and look at that. And you could say, wow, look at that. That looks pretty cool. And that doesn't look too bad. So that's my preview of it in kind of a 3D mode here. And you like it. And I'll just X out of that. But that's my 7B pumpkin. And then all that you have to do is just go into your exercise. I don't even think I have it set up yet, but just go into your 7B pumpkin exercise for Unit 6. Just add a comment and say, pumpkins completed. And that's all you have to do. And I'll check it out in your classroom. I saw there's a couple students in there already. So if you have any problems getting in the classroom, I guess we'll see how you do with that. So that's 7B pumpkin. Hopefully you enjoyed that little Halloween themed 3D exercise.